Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the stream. I'm here today with the co-host Max. What's up, Max?
Hey, what's going on, KG? It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. Yeah, we've been doing like just side by side streams for a while. Had to switch it up, go for the TV talk because there's a lot to talk about, and I just wanted to kind of get a few things off my chest in regards to a couple of different topics, and we got to talk about those Sony prices
Oh
because
yeah,
yeah.
coming
So
in
we'll go
hot.
over that. Yep. They always do. They always do come in hot. So let us know how the audio is. If I'm lower than Max, let me know. If Max is lower than me, let me know. I'll fix it. But don't let us know too late, because then then it's too late. Um, I just want to say what's up to everybody in chat. Looks like we got a few people already chatting. We got Manuel, MTech, Travis Sylvania, Duckvu, what's up? Scott, Ford, TKK in the house. What's up, man? Lisa, how you doing? Ford, what's up, everybody? How you guys doing? So we're just letting some people roll in. I know that sometimes people said the stream starts like late for them. Because I guess the ad plays before, and sometimes the ad just like is not skippable, which I tried to fix. So hopefully that's fixed now. Because that would be kind of annoying trying to join a stream and you can't skip the ad. I hate that. So yeah. But we already got a super chat from Travis Sylvania, so I'll throw it up on the screen because it's a pretty good question, and we'll get into the LG versus S95C more as the stream goes on. But he says, KG, what is your preference for PC gaming for a bright image? LG G3 versus S95C versus QN95C at the 75-77-inch size. No switch gaming. The room is dark. Thanks. Um, for this, I have to say it really just depends on a few different factors. I think of these three, the best one is probably the brightest one is going to be the QN95C if that's what your concern is, the brightest. But you do have like a compromise there because it is a LCD TV, and it's kind of crazy that the G3 and the S95C you can like get as bright as those almost in certain scenes now. Um, I haven't seen the 95C, but I've seen the 90C, and the peak brightness is very comparable there. So I think what you're looking at is just what do you want to give up? Because in all the cases, you'll be giving something up. The LG G3, you can't really rely on the game mode. You could just you're just not getting the same picture quality you are outside of game mode. So you're going to have something that supports the ALLM function, but then you're also getting more input lag on top of that. So I would say the ALLM on the G3, the input lag is very similar to what the Game Motion Plus is. I say it's like slightly faster than if you had Game Motion Plus on the Samsung. So I'm guessing it's around 20 to 25 milliseconds, something like that. For some people, that's not that much, but for others, that's a deal killer. So I mean, just depends on the kind of gamer you are. I would say if you're like a competitive gamer, that's probably a deal killer. You're like not gonna want that. Um, if it's PC gaming, they're both good. Um, they're all good with PC gaming because they all have really good PC gaming support. So I would just have to say, like, find the one that you think you can live with the faults the most with, and go with that. And keep the whole thing about the G3 not being able to be in game mode without sacrificing picture quality in mind, because it definitely, you are sacrificing picture quality in order to get the best looking picture out of the G3. And even then, I give the S95C the edge in gaming over that. So I would probably go with the S95C 77-inch if I had a choice for just gaming. I think that's what I would go with. What do you think, Max? I know you didn't see the G3, but you've seen the C3, so you kind of understand the faults
Yeah.
of game mode. I don't know if you compared the game mode to non-game mode much, but
Yeah. Yeah, I have the same issues that you're having with the G3, but I have the C3 in game mode. I think if you're just an average gamer, I don't think it's gonna be too much of an issue in that regards. But comparing it to the S95C, which I did have, yeah, I think overall is better, unless I'm just saying unless Samsung does something with their firmware on there. But that's where I had to put quotes around that.
yeah. Yeah, and I agree with TKK. He says S95C is the best gaming TV I've ever played on. Highly agree with that. Um, you factor in everything that the S95C has, and then the gaming features to go along with that. You just got a really great TV. You have so much flexibility in the game modes. Like you could play an original and have it very accurate, right? It's just not going to have HGIG functioning, so like you will never get that HGIG experience. But even if you go with the HGIG experience on, say, like the LG, for example, you're in game mode. So you are reduced with your color vibrancy and just how bright the colors can get. It doesn't look the same as outside of game mode. So that's a bummer because some people buy LG just for HGIG, right? But when you have that compromise now with the colors, to a certain degree, I think you've kind of already had stuff like that with LG's game mode. People just didn't talk about it as much. But now, once you see it outside of game mode and that the G3 is able to get to a degree that it can't get to in game mode, that's the problem. So you want to give up some colors in order for more accuracy with HGIG, but you're kind of losing accuracy in that regard because you're not getting your colors to look the same as they do outside of game mode. So I think it's one of those tricky debates that I think the LG is going to be a hard sell for game mode. Um, but like if you're having ALLM and you're okay with a little bit more input lag, like, for example, TKK, he couldn't probably game in ALLM, especially in those fighting games he plays, right? Like, that's probably a deal killer right there. 20 to 25 milliseconds. I imagine that would probably be tough for like Street Fighter if you're trying to input those buttons. Um,
Yeah,
so
because I was just thinking about I don't know if LG can really fix that because I think they did that purposely just to get the lowest input lag on there, and then they probably had a debate of if we do this, then we are going to sacrifice a lot of the picture mode by going this route, and that's
mhm,
why I think that's might be their reason. I could be completely wrong on that, but this has been going on for some years, and I think that
yeah.
might be the case.
Yeah, so Ford's got a good question. Is it a bug with the colors on the G3 game mode? HGIG on my G2 looks better than Filmmaker. So I don't know for a fact this is what's happening, but going based on like what Vincent was talking about with the color boosting, I believe at CES I heard about them using a new processing engine where they are going to make colors better. The perceived brightness is going to be better via processing, right? So things are going to be enhanced via processing. So I think what's going on is they're disabling some of that processing that they've added to the C3 and the G3. They both have the same processor. So you're seeing the same type of effect. It's not as dramatic on the C3 because the G3 is just more capable. So you see the downgrade in that, right? Um, the hope is that LG can fix it in an update, right? Find some sort of workaround. But we'll see. Um, because that is probably the biggest deal killer right now for game mode. If they fix it and it looks the same as outside of game mode, then I think we're gonna have a really good, time with the G3 because the G3 is a fantastic TV. And if HGIG works inside of game mode, to that same degree as it does outside of game mode with the colors, then I think we got a good TV on our hands. So
And
yeah,
then,
that's the biggest difference there, but, I mean, like, they've always kind of had one of the worst game modes, in my opinion. Like, they've always had a little bit more banding and posterization than any other brand. They've always kind of had some kind of issue with their game mode. I remember Whisper Status is in the chat right here, where he was seeing crawling blacks. He said it looked like Venom uh, in his OLED a few years back, and I remember seeing that video. So that was just something that they do have those issues, but a lot of that stuff was also going on outside of game mode at the time. But I do know they do make some sacrifices with their game mode. They turn off some processing in order to get those lower input lag numbers.
Yeah, just to add to it, because just like gaming monitors, a lot of people go for gaming monitors is that they really don't go for the picture quality that much. They go for the lowest input. And LG make gaming monitors as well too. And so their thought process is maybe to do the same. So that could
Yep.
be one of the things that they probably thinking of and stuff. So
Yep. What's up, Brian? How you doing? Hope everything is doing good with you. Yeah, so like I think that the input lag thing it's valid for a lot of people, but you might be surprised at how much input lag you can tolerate. Because I can be fine playing on the LG with ALLM. I'm fine with it. Like I don't have any problem with it. And the Sonys are around like 18 milliseconds input lag by default. So and I'm fine with them too. Like I don't have any problem with that. So
yeah, if you're in the competitive, then that's kind of like
yeah.
those are kind of like the questions you need to ask yourself. I mean, even people who play competitive gaming usually do go for the gaming monitors and stuff. I know OLED are starting to make wave this year in monitors, and you see a lot more people going that route. And so, I mean, LG, hopefully, LG may come up with a fix, and like, and we won't have to talk about this anymore. So,
Yeah. I think that'd be really cool if that happens. Brian says that LG is going to fix this with an update. Yeah, hopefully it'll be good soon. That'd be cool. And like like I see the argument about competitive gamers, and yeah, I certainly couldn't play at those higher input lags if I was playing something like Counter-Strike, for example. I know for a fact that I would get wrecked by most people in the lobby there. So that is valid for sure. And Tasty Delicious said, "Do we know what the input lag is with ALLM outside of game mode?" I don't have an input lag tester, but what I did was I ran all 4 TVs in different modes, and I had Game Motion Plus on with the Samsung, and I know that's around 25 milliseconds to 30 milliseconds input lag, something like that. And the ALLM was slightly faster than that. So I think it's around that 25 millisecond range, 20 to 25 milliseconds, if I would have to guess. Because it was just, I did it to where like I did a special attack and the character would light up red. As soon as he lit up red, that's kind of where I was timing it at. And I did slowed down the frames, and it was just a split second faster than the Game Motion Plus one. So, and the non Game Motion Plus and the game mode on the LG were about a frame faster. So, frame or two faster. Yep.
yeah, so we'll see and stuff. But I mean, but if we talking outside the game mode, if we talking about C3, I haven't looked at the G3 yet. I did see the G3 in stores and stuff, and I was impressed with it. But having a C3, I was supposed to come out with a comparison video the other day, but it's gonna come out next week.
Yeah.
But yeah, the C3, I will say this. I think they did a good job, especially going against the Sony A90J, and I was shocked looking at both both TVs, and LG did a good job with with this 2023 lineup and stuff, besides the gaming portion of it. But
Mhm.
when it comes to picture, I think it looks good.
Yeah, no, I would say that the C3 next to the S95B was almost just as good as the G2 did last year. Like I remember how the G2 did, and I going off of memory isn't the greatest thing to do, but like brightness didn't feel like it was overwhelmingly worse or anything like that. And I do like a lot of the changes that they made with the operating system this year. But the problem for LG is that it is stacked into this department of QD-OLEDs, and I think that QD-OLED right now is the more like definitive technology, especially in that price bracket. So you're talking about the S90C versus the C3, and I don't think that's gonna really be a debate. Like,
That's
so
yeah, if that was one thing that I've been saying about my comparison. If it was a lower price in the S90C, then without a doubt, I would say that would be the TV. But for them being the same exact price is a real hard pill to swallow unless Samsung does something stupid and come out with
yeah,
something that mess the TVs up. And I know they're probably watching and listening and making sure that doesn't happen.
yeah,
So those are kind of like the things that I just think in the back of my head. I say if LG just released it at a lower price, I think they would have did. I think they probably would have sold a lot more units, but who knows? Time will tell with discounts and stuff. So
mhm. Yeah, and we're about to get into the Sony prices, and I do think like the C3 is a bit overpriced at launch in comparison to everything else. You just compare it to like what's on the market right now and what it's stacked up against. Like if I saw that the S90C was at that price, I would if I'm LG, I'm probably like running a sale or something like, to get people in the door for the C3. Cuz right
yeah,
now, I don't know, maybe they're just trying to pressure people into the C2 by that price. Kind of give them FOMO like if I don't buy the C2 now, what am I going to get, Um cuz it is tough because it's 1899 for the 55 inch. That's a
yeah,
tough ask when you have the S90C being 1899, and the S90C is very comparable to the S95C. So,
yes,
you
it
know,
is. Yeah, because I
yeah.
was looking at the story and I was looking at them. They had it stacked up S95C on the top and S90C at the bottom,
Mhm.
and there's specular highlights that you could say like, oh yeah, this is brighter on the S95C, but the majority of people are probably gonna say, you know what, I just save some money, I just get the S90C.
Yeah. And it's really just gonna be like first gen panel versus second gen panel, and if you buy the 77-inch version, then you're probably not gonna see too much of a difference between the S90C and the S95C. Because we don't know
Unless
yet
you
if
have a
there's Yeah, we don't know if they're gonna restrict it yet. Classy is actually gonna check out the 77-inch, next to the 77-inch S95C, so I'd be really curious to see how that goes. Because if they're not software restricting it, really, there's no reason to not get it at the S90C at the 77-inch size. Um,
yeah. I was just gonna say, unless you like have them side by side, you wouldn't know the difference.
yeah, it's like the year with the A80J, where the A80J was better in the 77-inch size than all the other sizes. And it was always a guaranteed Evo panel because like they didn't have any other panels left. So like the case of the S90C, there's no first generation QD OLED 77 inch. So you're always getting a second generation panel. With the 55 and 65 inch in mind, from what I've heard, people are getting the first gen panel for the S90C. So that will eventually change to the second generation panel once they run out of stock because they're not making them anymore. They stopped making them production wise. They're not producing the first generation QD OLED panels no more as of like December. So you should start seeing second generation panels roll into the S90C. And I don't know if they're still making the S95B, but if you do, you can see that um, they will be out there too in the second generation panels. So But yeah, we'll see. We'll see for sure. And let's get into Sony. Let's get into it. I got my slides set up here. So just the lineup.
I'm already
We
shaking my head already.
and we are, we've seen the prices for all of these TVs, except for the A95L. So let's go through it.
Yeah.
So, what's new about the Sony this year? Like, just to go over some differences. What's 2023 Sony TVs? You have the new XR clear image. So just some processing enhancements that's gonna help clean up the picture a little bit more. And Sony was already great at that. So I wonder how much better it's gonna be with this. It's just like the case of the stronger, the strong getting already just stronger. Like there's not a ton of processing improvements in other TVs this year, but Sony was just like, it's fine. We already got the best processor, but we'll make it even better with this. And so props to them because like they're on the front of the cutting edge like picture quality. So and I think that's really cool, especially when it comes to upscaling. There's
Yeah.
nobody that can even touch them. So
Yeah, I will say that. I still wish they had a new processor just to justify the prices
right,
that are being
right.
leaked,
Yeah.
but hey, you know, Sony.
Yeah. And then, of course, they got a game bar this year. So they've got their own little game bar, just so they can be like everybody else in that sense. Of course, only the A95L is going to be able to do like a lot of the more advanced features like 120 hertz Dolby Vision, things like that. But it's cool to see a game bar. And then multi-view, I believe this is only going to be on the A95L though. So uh, shouldn't even put that in there.
I think it's gonna be on I did see a commercial. I
Mm,
don't know how true this is gonna be. I think it's gonna be on the X95L as well too.
oh, maybe.
Uh, yeah, I did that did come out, but then again, knowing Sony and their marketing, they may change it. But I know I saw on that trailer.
Yeah. All right. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go over the prices and release dates for when they're available to pre-order. And we're going to start with the X95L. It's only available in the States at 85 inches. In other countries, you can get it in different sizes, but we don't know how much different that is than the X95 K. But that's another debate, like for another day. I know that the X95L here in the States, the 85 inch is like improved like significantly over the X95K 85 inch. So they're justifying that by saying, hey, pay $5,800 at launch for the 85-inch size. That's a lot. I don't remember what the X95K 85-inch launched at, but I
It
believe
was
it was
55.
55. That's not
Yeah,
too bad
55.
then.
Yeah,
So like
54.99 or whatever it was. Yeah.
yeah, if you justify Sony prices, which you kind of have to at this point when it's talking about comparisons, you're only looking at what $300 difference. It's not too bad. So when the sale prices come in later on down the line, just add on to $300 to what you expected to pay on like Black Friday, or maybe they might even say, hey, uh, we'll be a little bit more generous with those prices this year. But that's the X95L. I don't know. Are you guys checking for that? Let me know in the comments and in the chat. And if you guys have any questions, just throw them up on here, and we'll get to them after the slides. And yeah, let's go to the next slide. So this is the X93L, and pretty much this is kind of the X95K rebadged. Like that's pretty much what it is. They're not saying that, but they're saying it's very similar, right? They're like, um, they've made improvements to the processing, not to the actual processing, but to some of the algorithms, and they've made improvements to the UI and stuff like that. Same as other TVs, except for it doesn't have the clear image technology, which is probably having to do with the fact that it's an X95K. So
Yeah, I thought that was kind of weird because I think because the X90L has the clear image and the X93 doesn't have it, and then the X95L has it. So it seemed like all the Sony lineups has it except for that version. So it kind of like tells everyone that it's pretty much rebadged, rebadged
yeah.
X95K,
So yeah,
unless they do
80.
some tweaks.
Yeah, 85-inch is coming in at $5,000. And 75-inch is coming in at 3,300. 65-inch is coming in at 2,400. So a lot tamer in the prices for launch, but again, it is really just a rebadged X95K. But 65-inch size, not bad if you consider that. It's just you gotta think about what else is on the market right now, and when you look at what's on the market compared to the X93L, it doesn't seem very favorable to the X93L. So yeah, I don't think there's much to say on this TV, honestly,
Yeah,
because it's the same experience,
yeah, I
kind of.
think they just, I think they either, I think they're $500 off, or maybe $1,000 off on certain sizes.
Yeah. So next slide, the A80L, and this is going to be the kind of the WOLED that you expect from year to year. And it's pretty much going to be very similar from last year. Maybe a little bit of improvements here and there. Of course, we talked about the features, and pricing is the same as LG C3. So you got the 55-inch coming in at $18.99, 65-inch at $25.99, 77-inch at $35.99, and the 83-inch at $54.99. So you look at those prices, and again, you're matched up against QD-OLED with the S90C. So that's just another thing that you have to think about when you're talking about the A80L, because the A80L, I believe Vincent measured it on the brightness factor. It wasn't very bright, which is to be expected from a WOLED with no like real enhancements. Um, so it's kind of a bummer. Um, it's one of those things, what you're getting with these TVs. They're good when they're going on sale, I think. When they're on sale, they're good. At launch, I wouldn't touch them. Um, based on what else is out there. You got to think about the competition. So,
Yeah, because I'm looking at the prices right now. I mean, it's comparable to, well, I think it is. It's the same price as C3, but I don't know.
yeah.
Since I had the C3 for, well, a couple weeks now, I don't know. I think the C3 is maybe a better TV in this case. Just my opinion.
Maybe. It might be. Because the C3 definitely has a lot of enhancements, especially with the processing. So I'd be curious to see what Sony does with the A80L. I should be getting an A80L in before I don't have the C3, so we'll be able to put those two side by side and see the differences there. And I should get a S90C as well. So we'll be able to see all of that. I didn't see my wallpapers went to. Anyway, I got distracted. Sorry about that. So yeah, I think like overall, when you're looking at these prices, it's to be expected, right? Like I'm not shocked by any of these prices. I was just hoping Sony was a little bit more aggressive, knowing that they, outside of their QD-OLED, they're kind of behind on what they are offering, like especially with the A80L in mind. Now, I do like the A80 series. I do. I think that if you're just looking for really good picture quality out of the box in a dark room, I'd like the A80L. Like I'd probably go with the A80L over a C3 in a dark room. But would I go with it over an S90C? I don't think so. Knowing what I know with the S95C and the S95B, it's tough. Like this is just a tough ask because you just have a really good setting out of the box in filmmaker mode on the S95C and S90C. So that's tough. Like it's just a tough sell. And it's not just tough for Sony, it's tough for LG in that department too. So
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't know. We will see as time progress, and maybe LG will make some updates. But I mean, going back to Sony on the other end, it's kind of like that's a I don't know for the A80L. I think it should be a lot cheaper
For
and
sure.
stuff. So
Yeah, I think they missed an opportunity to become like the cheaper like offering out of the gate. They probably would have got more sales. Like if they would have came in, say like 55-inch coming in at 16.99 or 17.99 even. Like I think people would be okay with that. But like 18.99, you're matching the S90C again. I don't know. It's maybe nobody knew about it, right? Maybe they didn't know Samsung was up to this. Like, but I talked about that when I heard about the S90C at the same price. I'm like, geez, they're gonna just like kill the market share if people are so like aware of this. So I don't know.
yeah, they should have been a couple $100 below.
Yeah, and I think you'll actually see them be more aggressive in their pricing this year. So hopefully, hopefully they realize that because it's not great for consumers in the sense that when you're looking at all the comparisons and you're looking at what's out there price wise, it just doesn't make sense for Sony at the time. It's easier to justify when something is better to pay more. It's harder to justify it when something is lacking. It's not as good as the competition. Like in the sense of you look at the A80L and the S90C, you're not going to pay the same price for something that is a better technology. And the same thing goes for C3 and the S90C. So I don't know. It's a tough sell for me. And I think though some people just like Sony, some people just like LG, some people just like Samsung. So they stick to the ones they know. And in that sense, then I guess the pricing is what it is. But that's why I urge people like just you get the best TV out there for you. Figure out what you like the best about it. And maybe it is Sony for people. Like maybe they just can't live without reality creation. So
Yeah, that's true.
but if that's the case, like I don't know, man. You got the A80K out there right now. You could still probably even find the A80J. I just struggle when a TV is very similar to its counterparts in the year before.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking about this too, and I think a lot of people don't know this. Like the game you're just showing the game bar
Mhm.
earlier. Remember, that's going to be a firmware update, so that's not going to be there on day one launches.
Right.
So for the A80L, especially, it's been reviewed already from Vincent. Uh, is identical to the A80K if you
Yeah.
really want to get Sony.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it had a clear. This one has the clear image.
Yes. Yes, it
Okay,
does.
so yeah, so that's the only difference right now. And the game menu bar is not available to who knows when. So it may take Sony towards the end of this year or beginning of next year. Because you remember with the whole 4K 120 VRR,
Yeah.
I had the 890J and they
Right.
promised it's supposed to come out with a firmware update. It didn't come out to
Yeah.
2022
Right.
in February because I remember that
Yeah,
when
it
it came out.
came out the same time like Elden Ring was released, and I was
Yeah,
like,
exactly. It
"Yes."
was around February,
I'm
March
actually
time.
really happy about that because I was like in the middle of Elden Ring, I really needed that VR.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, I don't think they're gonna wait that long for the gaming update. I'm gonna guess that it's probably gonna get released sometime in May or even June. So
Yeah, hopefully.
yeah,
Cross our
I
fingers.
don't think they're gonna wait that long. That would be a disaster for them if they did. So yeah.
Well, I mean, they've
Yeah, no,
done
I'm saying they won't.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying they're not
so,
capable
yeah.
of it.
Yeah, they've done it before. I mean, there's
Yeah.
we're not gonna go the 900H, and we're not gonna
Right,
go
right.
down the
Yeah.
road of
Oh, yeah.
that, so
They certainly have a track record.
yeah.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
So
So,
we'll see.
yeah, and then, we have the X90L. This one is kind of interesting because it is getting a couple of improvements over the X90K. It's getting a more premium look. It's getting, I think, better speakers, I believe, too. Um, and it's getting more dimming zones, but that's not clear yet because somebody was saying that the 55-inch was having the same amount of dimming zones as the X90K. And I know we have like one of the big LCD aficionados in here in HDR. What's what's his name? Why do I always forget your name? I talk to him all the time. But every time in the stream, I'm always like, I forget his name.
Oh, I didn't even see him. I thought you was about to say Brian, because Brian,
No,
yeah, because Brian loves LCD
High Def
TVs too.
News. I don't know why I always call him HDR News.
Oh
High
yeah,
Def
high def.
News. Yeah, High
Yeah,
Def's in here. He could tell us about it.
yeah. Well, what I'm really impressed with this one is, I don't know, that 98-inch. And I know people
Yeah,
are
that's
going
a
to
good
say that,
price. Mhm,
I think people are going to say, oh, but it's $10,000. But think about this: if you get a projector, a really good projector,
mhm.
um, this
Yep,
TV will still perform better than that really good projector. And then you got to think about too the size of it. So
yep.
those are kind of like the things I think about, because with projectors you have to make sure you have a dedicated home theater space. You gotta make
Mhm.
sure you got blacked out curtains. It's like it's so many variables that you have to do to get the absolute best picture quality. But for the 98-inch for the X90L for $10,000, I don't know. I think that's pretty good. And like I said, that's launch price. So who's to say down the road is gonna go down to 8,000 or $7,000? So this one I'm kind of
Right.
like
Yeah.
really shocked about.
Yeah, no, it's cool to see them coming in lower than I expected with this. I thought maybe 12,000, 13,000, maybe.
I thought
Uh
it was going to be 15, to be honest with you.
yeah, I could have seen that too. Um but yeah, I mean even the 85-inch 3300 is not bad. That's not terrible. But you got to consider what's out there right now. You can get an 85-inch QN90V for 22.99. So that's a tough ask right now, but um yeah, like big picture wise, I like the X90L. I just think that without it being mini LED, people are going to see that. I don't take too much stock into not being mini LED. I don't really think that's like a deal killer for it. But people are going to look at it and say it's not mini LED. We got other TVs available that are probably going to outpunch it, especially when you're talking about the U8K and the QM8 from TCL this year. This might be another tough department for Sony. So the X90L, I do think this TV could do really well, especially once it comes down in price. I do think they launch a little bit higher than they should with these TVs, especially in the case of the X90L. I like the X90L should probably launch around $1,000. Like it should honestly just come out the gate.
I just got high def.
Oh, okay. So he
You just
said,
answered the question about the zones.
so even on the 55-inch is the zone counts 33% more. Because somebody was saying that the 55-inch didn't have a zone increase, but if that's the case, then you know that's good news that it wouldn't be the same amount of zones. But even then, like more zones is good, but you still have to utilize those zones good in a good way. So we'll
Yeah,
see
you gotta
how
have the
how
processor
Sony
to
does
back
with
that up.
that. Yeah, it's gonna be tough. So Scott was saying he got the QN90B 85 today. That's the way to go. Yeah, that's
Good
a really good
deal.
price, 22.99.
Yeah,
Like that's a
yeah,
really good deal.
it's a
So
really good deal.
yep,
Yeah, I hope you really like it too, especially for that price.
for sure, for sure. Yep. Like while talking about sales, I just want to say that I do have affiliate links in the description. If you're buying your next TV, make sure you buy them with my links if you want to support the channel. That helps out so much, and I can't thank you guys enough for doing that. So I just wanted to let you guys know about that, remind you about that. But thanks for the support, of course, as always. And I think that wraps it up on like the Sony pricing. We could talk about the A9, but we don't see real prices on this yet. So let's talk about this. We can debate, but don't quote
Sounds
me on anything when I say about prices with this because I don't know anything.
I
This is
still
all
think it's gonna be
speculation here.
$6,000.
Mm, wow,
I'm still saying that price, so
wow, that's nutty if that's the case.
I don't know.
Um, really quickly, interrupt this program, but by answering this question, yes, I think the Nuggets are going to win the NBA championship. So, yeah, go Nuggets. Um,
Ooh, okay.
yeah. So 55 inches, 64 zones, 65 inches, 80, 75 inches, 96, and 85 inch and 98 are to be determined. So that's good. I believe that is an increase for the 55-inch in zone count then. So some people are saying 5K, 6K for the 77-inch. Yeah, so we're when we're talking about 5K or 6K, we're talking about the 77-inch size. What that's going to come in at. I do think that 5500 is what I'm guessing. Like that's a
That's probably what it would hit
safe
at.
yes. Yeah. It's a tough guess, but
I still say 6. I'm just throwing it out there.
the hype right now is that it's going to be brighter maybe than the S95C, and we'll see. Um I still think that, when it comes to the S95C, you have that active mode, which Sony currently doesn't really have an active mode. Like their brightness preferred isn't the same. It's not the same thing. So um we'll see like what they do if they change their algorithm for that. But it'll be really interesting to see an S95C next to an A95L and see which one really kind of punches harder.
Yeah, that would be crazy. Well, I'm not gonna say anything. I'll well, I might as well say it. That would be interesting if they would say, "Hey, Sony never does numbers, but if somebody end up measuring it and it end up being like 2,000, and it's just like what Samsung Display mentioned at CES, then I
Right.
think people are just gonna go crazy."
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, like, I'm not doubting that in vivid mode, they're going to be able to hit that target of 2,000 nits. Pretty sure the G3 can hit it. Um, but yeah, we'll see. Like, they do have the heat sink, so if they really want to push the panel, they have that ability. Um, they're gonna have to do something to justify the price. Um, maybe that would be enough for people to justify the price.
Yeah. Oh, Classy's here.
Yeah, he says he's only here for a sec, but one Windows measurement of the A80L doesn't mean anything. I've gone through dozens of A80J, 80Ks, and they range from 530 to 850 in window measurements. It's pointless to go off that. Yeah, I agree. It's definitely pointless to go off of the windowed measurements. Because you talk about the case of the C3, um, I'm sure that's probably going to measure around the same as the C2, and it definitely just looks brighter than your traditional C series OLED. Um, and I remember looking at the C2 next to the A80J, and I know for a fact, it's like the A80J probably wouldn't measure about the same as a C2, but the A80J to me looked brighter than the C2. So it's just one of those things you can't really go off of the windowed measurements. So I agree with that. They only tell some of the story, especially when you talk about what their vivid mode measurements are and the hype and stuff that goes behind that. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think that overall, the thing about the A80L, and while we go back to that for a second, is not the brightness. More so, it's just like what are the improvements and can we see any differences from even like the A80J, for example? Like when there was a lot of people that had different takes on the way the A80J and the A80K looked like from year to year difference. Some people said the A80J was better. Some people said the A80K was better. And like, I'm just curious to see if there's going to be that debate this year, or if we're just everybody's going to say like the A80L is a significant difference. Like it is better. Not by a ton, but like it'll be enough to separate to say, don't look at the A80K, look at the A80L instead. But I doubt you'll get that separation. We'll see though. But yeah, back to the A95L. I don't know. It's one of the TVs that's definitely on my radar in terms of like personal TVs. I might justify spending more on it, but I like doesn't mean that it's a good thing to do. Like I'm not like recommending people do that.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see. We'll have to see the TV side by side, and I'll make sure I do that for you guys.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the 65 and 55 inch. I think the 65 is probably going to be the same price as what the A95K was last year. Same thing for the 55-inch version. I think those prices are going to be identical. I think the 77-inch, since it's the first time Samsung display came out with a bigger size, I don't know. It's just Sony I don't know. They always like to up their prices. I was thinking about the A90J was $8,000 with the 83-inch. So I don't know. So that's why I was going with 6,000. So we'll see.
Yeah. Nah, I'm not sure. So yeah, that's just kind of that on the Sony. I'll probably just leave this slide up and we'll go into some questions if you guys have any questions.
And then we got to talk about this too about Sony. So they still got the same two HDMI 2.1, except for the A95L has the latest Pentonic chip, and everything else, all the other TVs that's lower than that doesn't. So
yeah,
that's something.
Yeah, shame on us for not mentioning that, but like that is one of the things. Like you're only getting that one functional HDMI 2.1 port. I say that because like most people have sound bars or something hooked up into the EARC port, but so you're basically getting two HDMI 2.1 ports. One is shared with the EARC port. Could be something that people need to think about if they have two consoles. Otherwise, you'll be swapping those cables out, or you'll have to get a external device and do it that way. So yeah, we'll see. Classy says he's still in at 5K for the A95L. I don't see it. I don't see it. Keep doing this. I don't know why they keep trying to make me sign in. It's one thing, the LG app for YouTube always tries to make you sign in. No other apps do that. Kind of annoying. But yeah. Lisa says, going to slip this in, don't laugh. I already laughed, I'm sorry. Can you be a calibrator if you are colorblind? I wonder if you can. Because a lot of it, that would be a classy question right there. It's probably not a great trait to have, right? Like, but I know some sound engineers that can only hear out of one ear and stuff, and they're very good at what they do. So maybe. There might be some workarounds to that.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, go ahead and ask your questions in the chat. Let me scroll through and see if I see any questions. And we'll make sure we get everybody's answers, and we can kind of have some open debates based on what people bring up. What food are we gonna vote on tonight? I was thinking maybe like fast food tacos, something like that. I don't think we did that yet. Yeah. So we can make sure.
No,
we
we didn't. I just thought about that.
Yeah. Yeah, which we do have a release date, so let me go through these again. Well, actually not release dates, but we have pre-order dates, and pre-order dates are usually like a week before they actually release, something like that. So you can expect these to ship pretty soon. So June is where we're looking at for the X90Ls. And then May 15th for the A80Ls. and this is subject to change, and some of this could be a little sooner than later too. And then May 1st for the X93L, and the X95L is May 8th. So that's that.
Oh, yeah, that's coming in next week.
No surprise that the X93L is the first one available.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're gonna take that sticker off. Like,
right. So like, here's the thing with the X90L: they have more local dipping zones, increased brightness, new bezel, new design, kind of cool. So yeah, I'll just leave it on this one. Yeah, I'll definitely have videos on most of these TVs. Hopefully. That's easy. It's going to be Taco Bell. I don't know about that.
yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so we are probably gonna go a little bit shorter than usual today. But so if you got those questions, now is a good time to get those questions in. And of course we'll talk about the next topic as well. So yeah, let me bring this up full screen here. I'll boost myself up on this chair because I was feeling like I was a little low. Yeah, you you just need a new box and a sticker for the X93L.
Yeah, because you can't, you don't know it's a
Right.
X93L, because it's like on the X95K it doesn't have any like any indicators that it's the X95 K, unless you go into the menus and you can see what it is by like the barcode. But
Hmm.
unless you see the sticker on the back of it, like the serial code, nobody won't be able to know.
Yeah, and then Christian says Amazon Warehouse has a deal 85-inch QN900B for 4100 used like new. Is it safe to buy from Amazon Warehouse? I mean, I don't know about that. The Amazon Warehouse is kind of sketchy. I've had some weird experiences with the Amazon Warehouse. I've had a couple of bad experiences with microphones where I would get like older microphones and like it would take forever to get my money back from Amazon Warehouse specifically. That could have just been like a couple of bad experiences, but Amazon Warehouse is hit or miss. I've had some situations where I've gotten stuff in the box and it was fine and I saved money. TVs is definitely one that is feels a bit risky, especially since Amazon Warehouse really doesn't have it, like much chill when it comes to taking stuff back. Like they might keep a broken TV and resell it, kind of thing. You know, like I don't know how diligent they are with checking what's in the box and if you're gonna be missing screws, things like that. Like you might have a higher chance at a bad experience, especially in talking about 85-inch. But if they're delivering it and setting it up, then they're gonna deal with all that. Like it's a tough one. It's a tough one. I would say I wouldn't on the 85-inch, but if you do, let me know and tell me your experience, because I don't have a lot of data on that. I know somebody got an A90J when it first came out, and they liked it. They got a really, really good open box deal on it. Yep.
And then no, they haven't released the prices for the A95L. We were just speculating.
No, yeah, we're just speculating on the prices for that. Let me go through some other slides here. But yeah,
Yeah,
we're
released
gonna
I was just thinking about it too. So I was just thinking about the 8K. Z9K still carries over as well too. So
yeah. Yeah, the A95L is gonna come around like July, August.
yeah.
That's tough. It's a tough ask.
Yeah, it will
Uh,
be.
are we gonna rank fast food fries? I think that's a good idea too.
Yeah.
I think the fries are better because yeah, we're definitely gonna get a lot more hot takes with the fries. I'm gonna do that right now while we think about questions. You guys go ahead and think about some questions to ask. Oh, heard myself. All right, so we are going to put that question in chat. And if you guys have questions, type them out.
Here's a
And
good
if you
one.
want to make sure your question gets answered right away, and you want to support the channel while doing so, you can do a super chat. It's greatly appreciated if you do, but of course, not required. So let's start that poll.
Yeah. While you do that, so the question is, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right. Adith, Shamil, is buying an LG C2 open box from Best Buy safe. He says it's about $180 Canadian, lower than a regular one. That's
Uh,
$180 though.
yeah, I mean, like generally, open box OLEDs are fine. Uh, this time of year though, you gotta be wary if they were a floor model or not. I would ask honestly if you can, if it was a floor model. But when you get the TV, if you end up going with the deal, make sure you check the hours on it. That way you know how long the runtime was. Most of the time, open box is like buyer's remorse, but it's tough.
Has them take it out of the box too.
This time of year is tough because they're swapping out new models all the time, and um, so we don't know if it's going to be a floor model or not. I'd say if it says that it's satisfactory or the lower one, I can't remember what it is, like, but if it says excellent or, you know, excellent Geek Squad certified, it's probably fine. And it's not a floor model because they don't really designate those. But if it says satisfactory, I would be a little weary on that.
Yeah, I'll ask them to take it out of the box and inspect it, turn it on, and play with the settings and
Mm-hmm.
see what's going on before you do that.
Yeah. So let's see. Best fast food fries. All right, so we got Five Guys.
Five Guys. I haven't had Five Guys in a very, very long time.
We got Wingstop. We got
Wingstop, yeah.
McDonald's, I guess.
Yeah, you have to
People
throw
love their
McDonald's. Yeah,
McDonald's fries.
yeah. So you have to throw McDonald's fries
All
in
right,
there.
we only have room for one more, and I'm thinking Wendy's because like
Yeah,
Dairy Queen
Wendy's.
fries suck. Like Dairy Queen fries are the worst. Like if we're talking about the worst fast food fries, it's probably Dairy Queen. Burger
I've
King's
had
not
Dairy
bad.
Queen.
What do you think, Wendy's or Burger King for the last fries?
Oh, they got to be Wendy's. Burger King fries is not that great.
You know, Taco Del Mar or Del Taco.
Del Taco.
Del Taco has some good fries too.
Yeah, they do. I just,
yeah.
I just had them Friday. And
Yeah.
so I hadn't had Del Taco in, I want to say, it's about to be 10 years. And I was just like, man, I'm missing out on these.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, what was I thinking?
Chick-fil-A fries. Yeah, you know. I agree, Def. I used to like Chick-fil-A fries, and like recently, I haven't really had good experiences with their fries. They always come to me soggy too.
Even
I think that's
I like Shake Shack
biggest
fries too.
problem. Yeah.
Yeah, the waffle fries is a hit or miss with
Oh,
chicken.
all right. Sorry, we can't have a fry debate without putting the goat. Well, one of the goats, Arby's. Really fries.
Really?
Yeah, I like them. I think they're good. You don't like them?
No, I like them and stuff.
See, look, there's not enough room because I like Popeye's fries too.
I had Popeyes fries.
I think we gotta take McDonald's off, man. We
What? No, you can't take off McDonald's fries.
okay.
You gonna put Wingstop fries over McDonald's fries?
Yes, because I think Wingstop fries probably win.
Oh man, you probably gonna have some people coming up to your door right now. I'm just thinking about the late after hours coming out the club and nothing's open but stuff to that McDonald's. That's gonna hit that right.
So do we cut Arby's then? Like,
I think you need to cut Arby's if you really thinking about cutting McDonald's, you got to cut Arby's first.
okay.
Yeah,
All
see, people are saying don't remove McDonald's.
Okay. I don't know then. I guess I'm gonna put Popeyes because people like that. I know people like their Popeyes fries.
No, you gotta do
What,
McDonald's
Wendy's?
is a given.
All right, we'll do Wendy's.
Wendy's, yeah, you have to do Wendy's. See, Wingstop. The reason why I'm not saying Wingstop so much is because it's not a drive-through. That's the reason why
Ah, that's
ki-
true. Yeah,
I'm
Five
kind of
Guys isn't
hesitant with that.
either.
Five Guys is not a drive-through
All right,
either.
let's just do drive. We'll do fast food drive-through fries.
Drive-through,
We'll do
yeah,
that.
you have
We'll
to
do
do
that.
it that way.
Okay. Because yeah, I think Five Guys is really good.
Yeah,
People probably
you
vote
have
on
to do it
that.
that way.
All right, so we got McDonald's, Wendy's,
Oops.
Burger King.
I don't know about Burger King though.
We'll just do
But
fast food burger fries. How about that?
burger fry, yeah, that's better. That's better.
Yeah. Uh, because yeah, Shake Shack would win too, right? Because like, got good fries. Um,
Yeah, it had to be a drive-through.
yeah, so it has to be like Burger King, McDonald's, Wendy's,
Mm-hmm.
Sonic. I don't know, like
Oh,
Sonic
Sonic is
is
so awful.
yeah, Sonic sucks. Like, I don't even
Oh,
know who wants to
it's
put Sonic on a list.
it's so awful. The only
Man,
thing
I
you
don't know.
go there is for their slushies or whatever you call those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, their
All right, well,
food is just
think about
absolutely
the
horrendous.
last one, and I'll hit the super chat real quick. Thank you, Tasty Delicious, for the super chat. He says, "Have you looked into color control app, to open the peak brightness for SDR game mode on LG? I've tried it with the C1, it works fine. We'll try it on the G3 next week. I'm sure it works. I try to avoid things like the color control app, things where it kind of involves like kind of hacking your TV. It's not something I personally do on the channel. So it's just because I wouldn't do it doesn't mean like maybe you shouldn't do it. It's fine if that's what you want to do. It's not something I'll look into or ever will look into though, because I'm trying to give people the same experience that most people would get out of the box, right? Like I doubt people are going to go out of their way and get a color control app. Some people
Yeah,
don't even have access to a PC. So,
yeah.
it's a tough ask for me personally to do and try out. Uh, that would be somebody on the lines of Plasma Gamers or something like that, where he is kind of all about like tweaking and hacking your TV,
Mhm.
trying to get the most out of it in that sense. I'm trying to get the most out of it by what's available, like you pressing the settings button and what's available to you out of the box. Like that's it. No calibration, nothing beyond that. No hacking the TV, no going to the service menu, things like that. So I just try to keep it on that line, just because that's something that I personally never would do, and I know a lot of people feel the same way. So
Yeah, because I was thinking about that, but then it's kind of like you have to get the app GitHub, and then I had to download this, and I was like, no, I'm not going through all this. I mean, I could if if I really own the TV and I want to do that, then I will go that route. Um, but if that should be a decision for you to get an LG TV, I don't think that's would be a good idea. Just my
mhm.
opinion is that if you had to go through some back routes during the tweak settings, it's just like LG should have just provided that from the get go and stuff. So because
Yeah.
then I could do the same thing with Samsung, I could do the same thing with Sony too.
Yeah. And Doug Fu will say, "Am I at a food with KG channel?" Yeah, it's probably confusing for some people, but that's what we do here. We just have fun, sometimes in chat, especially when we're winding down. Stream's about to end pretty soon, so get your questions in. We got Rachel chiming in,
Oh, Rachel
with
coming
super
in.
chat
I haven't
saying,
seen
"Hey
Rachel
y'all,
in a good minute.
fast Five Guys fries are fire. Yes, they are. Very
They are.
fire. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're really good. They're so good. I just had them the other day.
I haven't been to Five Guys in years either. Man, it's just the thing is that when they put put the fries and then your burger and then your
Yeah,
fries
that's
again,
annoying. Yeah, I agree.
it's it's kind of like no, I mean it's okay and stuff like that, but
Yeah,
it's
but
just
you
like
gotta stick your hands in the
oh yeah,
boiling
you
hot,
burn yourself,
to get
yeah,
to get your burger.
like gosh, yeah, yeah, but no, theirs is pretty good and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yep. Alright, so, have did we think about, like, the last one on the list? So, here's what we got so far. We got Burger King, McDonald's, Wendy's, and then
you
I
might as
know
well put in
I'm
Arby's.
Yeah, Arby's. You're right. Yeah, Arby's. Jack in the Box.
Jack in
Arby's
the
got
Box.
better curly fries though.
Yeah, Jack in the Box. See, we don't have this in Michigan, but when I was living in Nevada and stuff, Jack in the Box was good, but it just didn't, for me, it just didn't hit that spot. I
Like,
felt it was overhyped on certain things.
yeah, and Elisa coming in with the super chat saying McDonald's fries definitively. So we're gonna see who wins this one. Um,
I mean, they're the ghosts, in my
I
opinion. So,
I can't vote on my own poll. It won't let me.
oh, I am. I'm about to vote.
But I'll tell you, I would not vote for McDonald's. I like McDonald's fries at times, um, but I think I would probably go Arby's. I'm not trying to like influence anybody. Wendy's is also good though.
But what makes it? But the thing is, with Arby's though, you have options to do curly fries or the regular fries. So I think that's a little bit cheap.
Yeah. On the topic of fast food, like I used to hate Burger King, but I went there the other day. They changed. They definitely changed. Like it was a way better experience. Like the chicken fries seemed like way better than before, and then the burger actually didn't seem too bad either. So I don't know. Burger King kind of trying to change their thing up, I think.
It's a hit and miss for me
Yeah, yeah,
and stuff.
it's
So
probably a hit and miss. But I used to avoid it like the plague, and now
yeah,
I'm just like, all right, I won't mind it. If it's there, it's there. But Wendy's is kind of like my go-to for burgers usually. For fast food, like we're not talking about Shake Shack or anything like that. Like
yeah.
we're
If
talking
we,
about drive-through Wendy's probably for burgers.
yeah, everybody's going for McDonald's.
McDonald's. Yeah, I figured that. I figured that. You can't take away the arch. Like that's just in people's minds, and I guess like their fries are pretty decent, especially when they're hot. But like I judge fries when they're cold, man. Because
Yeah,
like
I get you.
you're not always gonna get like hot fries.
Yeah, like in Michigan, and I know it's not in other areas. I think it is only a Michigan thing, and I think in Chicago and in New York. So we have, yeah, it's in New York too. We have a place called Coney Island and stuff, and chili cheese fries. Without a doubt, you have to get that and stuff. That is like if you're gonna visit Michigan or visit New York or those or Chicago, you have to get that.
Yeah, I was laughing at this comment. What peak brightness is in 10% window is McDonald's. I don't know. Those arches are pretty bright. You can see them from a while away. So
Yeah, but yeah, that's the only places I could think of. But
yeah,
Arby's is straight.
I
I
think that
think
would
it's
be
okay.
yeah, that'd be
Oh,
really
right,
interesting
right.
if somebody went and like measured the peak brightness of everybody's fast food drive-through menu screens.
Oh yeah,
Like who's got the brightest?
yeah. Then Red Robin's over here too.
Yeah, but yeah,
They're
see,
pretty good
that's
too.
the thing. We could do the fries all day. I think like
Oh yeah,
Red
we could
Robin
have
is
a
good.
fry. We could do a dedicated fry channel.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
really
it's
could. You
yeah,
really
because
could.
everybody do fries and stuff. So
Yeah, that's true.
see, I wish we had. See, this is the thing is, I've
I
been.
see In and Out is hard to put on there because it's like
I
there's
don't- we
only the
don't have it
one.
in
Yeah,
Michigan. We don't have it in Michigan. I've been so irritated because
yeah, I'm missing out.
yeah, you said we're not missing out.
No, you're not missing out. That's a hot take, but I'm stand by it. Their burgers are gross.
People are going to get so heated.
Please don't unsub from the channel. But I just compare it to like Shake Shack, and maybe that's the unfair thing to do. But yeah, it's just I don't know, man. Shake Shack just kills every burger. They won too. You know, we did that debate.
Yeah, Shake Shack is it does a good job.
Yeah, you judge fries cold. No, I mean like you just kind of know like the substance behind it. Like if you have bad fries and they're cold, like they're just unredeemable, right? And you're always gonna get cold fries from time to time. So you gotta have decent. That's why I like Popeyes fries. Like I can eat those suckers when they're cold. Not like out of the refrigerator or something. But like, let's say that they're not fresh, like they're not super hot when you get them. That's what I mean by cold. I don't mean like cold, cold.
That's something my wife would do. She would just like eat something. And I was like, I just look at her and be like, really?
Yeah,
He said, yeah, why not? I said, no, you got to pop that into the air fryer. Gotta
yeah.
reheat those.
Wow, Shake Shack is a bootleg in and out. That's a bad take.
I saw SD on that one.
Take. That's a bad take, SD. That's a bad one.
Oh, we talked about In and Out.
Yeah.
You missed it. KG say he doesn't like In and Out.
Oh yeah.
You heard it. You hear it here first.
It's not the first time I said that. I just think it's overrated. I think it's got a reputation that is not deserved.
Wow. I wish we had the In and Out.
It's like the LG of burgers.
Wow.
Just joking.
Now you're saying LG.
I'm just joking. People think I hate LG. That's why I threw it in there.
I don't know. I'm just now switching back to TVs because I was just thinking about
yeah.
it.
Let's switch back to TV. Let's talk about the whole thing. I gotta talk about this before we get out of here. Is the MLA OLED? Is it enough? Right? Is it enough for you to skip QD-OLED? And I asked that to you guys in chat. Like, from what you've heard and seen from the LG MLA OLEDs, is that enough for you to say, okay, I'm okay with not having a QD-OLED. I'll just take this. Are you okay with that?
I think the question is that how long are you gonna have your TVs? How long you that's kind of like then that would kind of like end a lot of the debate. If you plan on getting the G3 this year and having it for the next 5 years, I think without a doubt, I think that would probably be enough for the majority of people.
Yeah.
But I don't know. For me, I think QD-OLED technology is the future. And I made this analogy before with LG. It's like they keep on adding stuff to it, like the heat sink, this new MLA technology and stuff. It's kind of like you're doing extra external parts to it. Like you're trying to add a booster, you're trying to add a charger to your car, you're trying to add a new exhaust and stuff, cold air intake. So that's why I kind of like see what LG is doing with their TVs.
Yeah. I agree. I think they're doing enough to keep it alive for sure because people want it. That's for a fact. It's one of the most searched for TVs right now. People really like to see what the G3 is doing. And honestly, it does a really good job. Like if you're after brightness, that sucker is bright, bro. Like it's the brightest OLED TV you can buy. The G3 is the best, like brightest OLED. So like if you're just looking for brightness, it's the G3. The downside is like the color brightness. It doesn't hit as hard as the S95C in that department. But by far, yes, it is definitely brighter than the S95C. That said, most content will look very similar, and then you get an advantage with the QD-OLED in certain content. So it does depend on what you do. I think a lot of people will probably get away with the G3. I think the G3 would be a harder hitter if it didn't have the problems in game mode. Because if they fix that game mode issue, I think MLA would be enough for LG to kind of get over that stigma if it's not QD-OLED. Because in my opinion, what MLA is doing for content, I like it a lot. I think it's good. And like I said, the downsides is that it doesn't get to the same color brightness. You don't really notice that if you don't have a QD-OLED next to it. Because you really don't know what you're missing if it's not there. And the actual highlight brightness is really good on the G3. And that's something that you can't take that away from the G3. It pops. Like it's a wow factor TV when it comes to that, especially with those white highlights. It's kind of outrageous how bright that thing can get. I've seen it next to the QN90C, and there were scenes where it was as bright as the QN90C, and that blew my mind. Like, I was just, like, stunned by that. I was like, "Okay, that doesn't make sense. It shouldn't be like this." Um, but the G3 just it is. It is a good TV. It's by far probably the second best TV, and I would even say it rivals the first best depending on what your use case is.
I have to get the G3 to do that comparison and
Yeah, you
stuff. So
you you have to
I
check
can,
it out. It's it's
yeah,
it's a sick TV. It's a sick
yeah,
TV.
yeah. Because so far for me, the best TV that I reviewed is the S95C. So now I really got to get the G3 to really stack that up. But I'm probably gonna get the S90C first because I really want to see that TV. But we'll see. Oh, you got a super
Oh,
chat.
Rachel. Oh,
Oh,
thank you
you
for the
got it.
super
Okay.
chat. Ranting. So I bought a C2 on sale. I loved it, but after 4 days, it got a blue vertical line. Got mad and returned it. A95K looks good, but it's too much. What to get? A90J, A80K, or try LG again with the G2? Um, yeah, that's something that is really tough. What was did you try the S95B yet?
I
Like,
was just about to
that
ask that
feels like
too.
one that you definitely like if you're going after the A95K. You might have tried the S95B, maybe the Samsung interface was a little too clunky and just something you don't want to deal with, which is understandable, especially if you're using it as a smart TV. It's definitely probably not the one I would go with if that was the use case. But in terms of picture quality, it is the best bang for your buck that you can get right now. Um, there's not a lot of downside with that TV. Uh, from those that you listed, I think the G2 is the one that I would look at. But I would say hold your horses because the A95K is going to drop in price once the A95L comes out. I can see that dropping a decent amount. So we'll see. Uh, I would guess that the A95K, it would be worth it at, like, a little bit more, like, maybe $300 more than those TVs. I'd probably pull the trigger on that. But, I'd say be a little patient with it, um, because the TVs you listed are very similar in that regard. I would say the G2 outshines the A90J just ever so slightly. Yeah. But, I honestly think, like, a C2 and a G2 is not too much difference there, so and you liked your C2, so I don't know, maybe you could try it again if it's something you like. Uh, that blue vertical line, that's definitely, like, an unfortunate thing. Happens with a lot of TVs. Sometimes you get lemons, but, yeah, what do you think, Max, between those, 3 that she listed?
I don't know. After I did my comparison between the C3 and the A90J, it changed my perspective on everything nowadays.
Yeah.
Um, I wouldn't. I don't know. I think. I don't know. Okay. So you bought a seat. I say try. I think the G2 might be best in this
Yeah,
case
I agree.
because if you turn because that one has a heat sink and it's supposed to be overall the same or brighter than the A90J.
Mhm.
And don't get me wrong, the A90J, I have the TV. I could tell you from experience, I absolutely think it's a great TV. But I think it depends on your use case too. I just think it lacks a lot in gaming features in certain things. And I think the
Mhm.
G2 may give you the overall better TV against the A90J. And then the A90J did come out in 2021 compared to the G2 came out last year. So,
Yeah.
and the G2 has a newer panel. So those are kind of like the things I think of and stuff. So I think the G2 might be better
Yeah.
in this case
Yeah, and
if you
an
could get a good price.
A90J is 2 years old. So
Yeah,
that's that's another one that's like, it's tough. So,
yeah,
last call on questions. I'm gonna go, like, 3 more minutes or so, and then that's it, 'cause, we gotta drop off here soon. Um,
yeah. Got to drop off in this in a minute.
yeah. So if you guys last second questions, before we get to that, if you got anything coming up, Max, you want to talk about?
Yeah, so I mentioned it earlier, but I do have a comparison with the Sony A90J and the LG C3. And spoiler alert, the LG C3 is is brighter than the A90J. So
Wow.
I'll let everyone know about that. And I'm gonna have a video showing that. But at the same time, too, there are certain contests where A90J does show his strengths, but
Mhm.
overall, LG did a good job. So
Yeah. Yeah, when you're talking about C3 versus A90J, the C3 does seem like it's gonna be beating that, so I'm not surprised at all with the processing enhancements. That's pretty interesting what you said there.
yeah.
And then we're gonna go ahead and drop off here, and just want to say thanks to everybody for joining. You guys are great as usual. Make sure you hit the like button on the way out, and we'll see you next week, maybe Friday or Saturday again. We'll see. But yeah, I do have a video coming this week, S95C review. Should be out this week sometime. And then S95B versus G2, sorry, G3, because that's a one that I think people should really see for themselves in higher quality, because that was an interesting result. And then, yeah, that's it. Thanks for joining, everybody. Appreciate you guys so much, and have a good weekend.
All right, take care.
Later.